want to at different areas, but until you're taken up beyond that. If I take you totally out of creation, your perspective will drastically change. And a lot of these idealisms and thoughts that you have is going to melt away on that. So let's just don't get too wrapped up in the plants and animals and all that stuff. You can get wrapped wherever you want. I'm here to help you get well and to turn your head back toward God. So that's what I intend to do. I don't know what to say about it. Plants are there for humans to consume, animals are not. This is an illusion. This is truth. If you think plants feel pain, then do not harm them. Simple. But that view does not interfere with animals. Animals are not here for use. Anyway, that's what I'm saying, and I like your take on that. That's NOEGOTV. It's a thing. You know, it's all about you and what you accept or unaccept. We raise animals to eat. Now, when you're raising animals to eat, you're bringing all these individual consciousness to this planet. And yes, you know, what are you bringing them here for? In reality, remember, you can't kill anything. You can't hurt anything. I can say that you can feel pain, definitely, no question about it. But as soon as you remove yourself away from that, the pain is gone. It's very interesting. Well, you have to understand what's the living reality here. Is it the humans? I mean, that's more Christianity thinking that the humans are the only viable thing out there, that they're the only thing God made. I don't know. There's all kinds of ridiculous theories like that. All matter is simply matter. Atoms in movement and in parallel and in magnetic flux. All kinds of cycles and processes going on, yet none of them are really real. Because the only thing that has lasting effect, something that goes beyond death, and that is consciousness. I can make anything, and I can put life into it. That's the knack of the Supreme Being, eh? So I say we get on with the thinking there. I really prefer the fruitarian level. Can't go there, can't live there right now for a lot of obvious reasons. Just the procurement of the food is interesting, but it's still, if you wanted to argue it, we're frugivores. You can't hardly argue out of that. You can argue that we've lived outside of that realm for so many generations, at least the northerners. But in reality, we have to get back, because no matter where you live in the world, I put you on this same diet, the same high frugivorish diet with the herbs, and you all get well. I don't care who you are, where you're from. I have folks from northern Alaska, Mongolia, all the way to Japan, all the way to the islands. Everybody gets well the same as everyone else. We're species. So a lot of arguments are out there, a lot of theories, but I think if you break your consciousness away from this earth, away from the physical world, away from the emotional world and the mental worlds, you'll start living at levels that are quite interesting and will give you some major insights into truth. And so that's really what one should really be going through, arguing over meat and fruits and vegetables and all that. So what? It's just a food source. All life has, you know, atoms that make it up. The real reality, the awareness of all the plants and everything else, again, you know, I've said this before, I've been blessed to have been back to the plant life. I have ran with some very powerful masters. I've been outside of creation. I've been back to plant life, which is I've said this on the video, probably the last one. It might not have got recorded, but I at a very claustrophobic level. When you go back into plants and animals from the human consciousness, you got to have someone there to try to pull you out, because it's extremely claustrophobic and extremely limiting to the consciousness that the most humans have, even at their limited states. So it's really, but it's still individualized. I have a lot of communications with my plants, and they're all very individualized. And like I said, get the book, The Secret Life of Plants, and you'll see some tremendous studies done to prove that point. So it's really here nor there for me. This is about being well, getting well, eating maybe on a higher order if we want to use that word. But then in comes the arguments, you know, of back and forth, that you see what gets you well. You get you well away from the meat eating and away from that, but, you know, as long as they're going to raise animals to eat, and I'm going to, when I've got this level of problems, some of you might not understand this level of problems yet, but as you become practitioners, you sure will, and you'll be grabbing for tools to help you. And then this is part of the problem. And another reason I love you guys out there is that we're going to have to be putting our heads together and working these children back out of these deeper levels of genetic weaknesses. This is a mess we're in. And this isn't, you know, we're arguing over bullshit stuff. I like this one, force for fertility. Well, you know, the whole concept of breatharians, that's where I was going. Most animals are already mono-eaters. So, I mean, you can argue that point, but really, you do digest better and you feel healthier when you only eat one food. Well, we go scavenging for all kinds of foods. I used to push the rainbow salads and stuff, and it's true, a lot of nutrition, but confusing to those that are sensitive to creation. The more aware you become, the more sensitive you are to lower forms of vibration. No question. And so, yes, you can definitely, all these levels have their problems, especially when you've got bodies that are dealing with and have been, well, you know, trained, if you will, conditioned, if you will, for all these generations and these types of eatings. So getting up into these high pure levels is a trip. And when you do, it's a trip to come down off of them, too. It's a whole big deal here. And I think that we pay too much attention to our health issues. I say that, and a beautiful soul like this Lissa, who's been in pain for 6 years, appreciates the fact that she's not in pain anymore, and boy, can I understand that one. So this is why I do this. And so, again, how we end the life of plants and stuff, but again, we're not ending any life. You kill an animal, you're not ending the life of the animal. That's the illusion that you live by. Because those that can't see beyond this world only see what's hitting them in this world. And that can be very limiting to one's overall consciousness when you get too focused in creation like this. It's too focused. Some actually do believe that sun gazing near sunup and sundown can eventually replace the need for food. Well, you know, I've studied that, and there was a nun, a Catholic nun, living in the Himalayas in the 70s, just eating on snow and stuff. I don't see that one needs to go to that extreme. I tried. I went to a mono level of eating. I went to the oranges, like I said, for 6 months, and I just found I had to back up the other way. But that was me. Now, there are some people, I think Johnny Love Wisdom probably went right on over the top. I believe we were meant to eat plants, but also to be their stewards. Thank you. I do too. I think this is true with all life here, and I think the more awakened you get, the more you'll leave plants even and go to the fruits, the berries, and the melons. I think that's the perfect level to be in terms of magnetics, in terms of health, in terms of energy. I don't think breatharian is I mean, you can try it. Remember I talked about that pretty lady from Australia that claims to be a breatharian, but at the same time she kind of believes in intuitiveness. It is important, though. You bring up a good point. Is this force for fertility? A reforce for fertility? The idea that you need full spectrum lighting, I think that's a given. I think we need to play outdoors a lot more than we do. Instead of sucking down on B3 or D3s and all the other stuff, we need to get out and get some sunlight and interact with nature and start touching the earth. That was a good book, To Touch the Earth. You got to get that one too. To Touch the Earth is all about these mystic Indians who had an interesting thing to say about vegetables. this one mystic Indian chief, I don't think it was Sitting Bull, but one of them was talking about plowing. And he said, you want me to rip my mother's skin to plow vegetables, to plant vegetables. And that was a good point from his viewpoint as well. Do I rip open the earth to plant vegetables when I can just pick from a fruit tree? I mean, these are some of the things that are filtrating all levels of consciousness. So I don't think any of this is worth the time anymore to spend on. And I appreciate it. Balanced Beauty Blog, thank you for your support there. We're just really trying our best to help everyone. So nothing's perfect in this level. You're the only thing perfect. Thank you for taking time to read my question and answer it. I will give the phone number. Okay, love. Oh, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Call Rachel. Thank you, sweetheart. Pain Free. God, I tell you what, Rita, I'm really proud of you, sweetheart. You keep going. I want you, all you guys, out of pain. Get your lives back. Kelly, you're doing really well, sweetheart. You just, you know, as our conversation the other day, you just keep hitting it. Don't let anything stop you, because no matter what you're dealing with financially in terms of disabilities and things like this, the most important thing in your life is yourself and your wellness. And we have to break loose of all these support mechanisms and all these things that are holding us down, and break through to the other side, and break through to the light and health and vitality. It's just real important that we move that way, and spirituality, however you wish to define that. And for those who have been asking, I will do more spiritual videos. I'm trying to interlace them with all these health questions, but I will get back to some. I think I mentioned the last time that, you know, the longer you're trying to absorb back into that which is, I guess you could say, the less you have to say. So I find nowadays, I used to have a lot to say when I was younger, but I have less to say now about any of this. This is a post by JD 00090. I have been using homeopathy as well with good results. I know a lot of really good homeopathists, and you get that right, the right homeopathic formula, and it does well for you. And so I like that. I think homeopathy, again, should be allopathy. Allopathy needs to become homeopathic, and anything allopathic should be surgeries and maybe emergency medicine. But again, emergency medicine needs to incorporate all of us. And then you've got unbelievable emergency medicine. But right now it's just okay. They're getting better with antibiotics, at least with the children, thank God. A comment, flat feet, can they be lifted, strengthened with the detox? I assume they can. I've really never had anybody in here with flat feet that I know of that pulled up. I mean, it seems I might have had one case where the guy said his arch was doing better, but it's in the distant mind. So it doesn't come to my mind right off that is, but I've seen the body realign itself in every other structure there, so I assume that's just another area the body can fix. And wow,